Everyone's discussing Deadpool. That's what we're talking today. But more clearly, everyone is discussing Deadpool and Wolverine. Technically, Deadpool 3, the third movie that today's movie, Deadpool 2016, begins. Where did this movie come from? Where did this character come from? Why was it hyped? Why was it important? And why was it absolutely perfect casting? And that's really what people were most interested in. We're going to get through it all. Peter A. DeLuca here, AKAPAD 69. I'm the film buff. We're going to play an intro and get right to it.
Camera speed.
Sound production, take 1.
Action!
And welcome back. Hey guys, you know what they say? They say modern day, if you don't hook your social media something audience in the first 2 to 3 seconds, you lose them. Well, that's tough because we get deep here. We do long form content. This episode right here, it's a part of a week's worth of Deadpool study. And by study, I just mean like we're sitting down, we're thinking, we're taking notes, we're trying to draft a flow of content, just a episode to episode type feel. And that's a little bit of what I've been doing. For the last 2 days, it's been Deadpool animated. I've debated addressing one of the Deadpool animated appearances disappearing off stream. It's Hulkverse, straight to DVD, animated feature. It's a masterpiece, but it's not available anywhere. Deadpool's in that too. And that's a further perfection of getting this character correct off the comic book page. A lot of what happens in that Hulkverse animated movie, believe it or not, it ends up in this movie. Because it takes a little bit of work. And by work, I mean executed work. Things that you can see. You can see it fully formed in front of your face. And you have to get enough of that to know, do we move this part of the character to the left? Do we move it to the right? And yes, you can chart this, and you can diagram it out, and you can make a Venn diagram to narrow in the personality aspects of a lot of these characters. A lot of authors, they have index cards, just, like index files full of index cards of just some of their characters, like some of the character traits. I believe Stanley Kubrick had like 1 year of Napoleon's life all drafted out on index cards, leading into a movie that never got made. Napoleon is the greatest unmade Hollywood movie. Sorry, Jodorowsky Dune fans. I know everybody wants to go into Dune for the greatest movie never made, but it's really Stanley Kubrick's Napoleon. So there's this path, modern day path, that we documented through Deadpool. But even during this time, it was so much more of a curiosity. It was an idea to get executed. You wanted to see if they could stick the landing. And all of this comes from a stop and go process that was Ryan Reynolds leading into Deadpool. We got Deadpool previously, his first live action, Wolverine Origins, where I decided not to add that to this flow because it's just been overdone. So we get this comeback, this correction, and a lot of people, and I'm talking about the fans, because I'm not in Hollywood, I'm not in these meetings. I should be, but I'm not. But we get this regurgitation, this gag reflex, so to speak. People didn't like Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool Wolverine Origins. They hated it. But then it just didn't go away. And Ryan Reynolds, somewhat effectively through social media, campaigned, hey, do you want to see me do this character right? We know I have the sense of humor and the personality to nail it. And that's the casting. And everybody was behind it. People wanted Patrick Stewart as Professor X. It goes on and on, right? So there's some fan casting. There's some pre-approved decisions. John Krasinski in Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, like John Krasinski, John K, as Reed Richards. Perfect, but it's gone already. And we got some of that also for Wolverine Deadpool. We got some fan casting in that. We got Henry Cavill as Wolverine in that. Seems perfect. Think the people were right. And the people were correct with Ryan Reynolds and Deadpool. So this correction process, this back and forth, it took a little bit. And then I recall seeing footage. It might have been San Diego Comic-Con. I'm not sure exactly what Comic-Con. But the test footage was seen, and people went nuts. But the movie stopped. Not greenlit. Nothing's going to happen. And keep in mind, a lot of stuff around this time too. Channing Tatum, who also ends up in Wolverine Deadpool, he was gearing up for Gambit. So we were kind of getting this, not so much young Hollywood, but young experienced Hollywood. A couple good-looking faces, model-level bodies, carved out of the wood, as they say in Fight Club, chiseled young men who have been in the game for a while, connecting themselves to major comic book franchises. Now, Deadpool wasn't major, Gambit's not major. They're just not there. Deadpool is there now, thanks to hundreds of millions of dollars spent on merchandising. But they were like mid-level risk, and we see that in the budget for this movie. This is roughly a $60 million movie, and everyone involved, outside Ryan Reynolds, you never heard of. But Ryan Reynolds is suspected of leaking that Comic-Con footage onto the internet. He puts it out there, people go crazy, movie gets greenlit, and here we are. Our director, Tim Miller. So, we can talk about the movie. I mean, the movie's fantastic. The movie's perfect. The movie is one of the top comic book movies of all time. Perfect casting, perfect action. The way how they brought the page to life. All of these dumb platitudes you hear over and over again. But Deadpool spoke to the camera. He broke the fourth wall. We loved it. And we were hyped for Deadpool 2. So, Tim Miller. We got to talk about Tim Miller. Because you make a movie like this, and Tim Miller was not on the lips and the brains of guys that should get a shot. He looks like he was chomping at the bit at geek material, we'll say, comic shop material, comic store material. He's been chomping at the bit for quite some time. He himself, he's been a part of a lot of stop-and-go conversations. He comes up throughout the years, but no one's like, hey, Tim Miller needs this. Like, we need to see Tim Miller do this. Tim Miller, relatively unknown despite being in the industry for a very long time. Seasoned professional. His crew credits: their visual effects, creative supervisor, creative director, creative supervisor, creative director, second unit director. Okay? But he does work for Marvel Studios. And this is supposed to be his coming out party. And it works. It's right, like the Hollywood saga comes to life with Tim Miller. So what do? So what do you do when you're Tim Miller and you get the shot? See, it's not Deadpool. Deadpool's not the shot. Deadpool is still... Everyone got lucky with Deadpool. Everyone got lucky. They did some amazing things in Deadpool, but everyone got lucky. Because if it wasn't luck, then every movie would be as good as Deadpool. And to this time right now, you know, the Deadpool movies in quality and watchability are in order. Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2, Deadpool Wolverine. That's your watchable order. You can't say that with all franchises. Because like Thor Ragnarok, for example, I would watch that over Thor or Thor Dark World. So you get your shot, and your shot is Terminator Dark Fate. And by this time, there's a lot of people online. So the same people that championed Deadpool getting made through that leaked footage are the people now that want to tell Tim Miller that you're maybe leaning in the wrong direction with Terminator Dark Fate, because we kind of know this franchise. Please listen to us. And Tim Miller pushes back against fans and completely shuts down his own movie before it gets dropped. I think Dark Fate has movements. It has elements. I haven't seen it in a while. Maybe I'll watch it again soon. But it's not like I hated the movie. I liked a lot of the ideas. I think the girl's great. I think the acting. I think even, the circular. We're not going to kill John Connor. We're going to just have to kill someone else logic, because it is circular. Like, all of those things are there. And I think a lot of times, these movies get labeled as woke or social justice warrior, SJW. Everything has an abbreviation. But the movie gets labeled, and a lot of times I will say, just through the course of doing this show with all of you, because I love you guys, it doesn't hold true. It doesn't mean the movie doesn't have elements of it, though. Or even in some cases, stink of it. I do believe a lot of these movies are positioned to be universally consumed. That's just the nature of the business. But he pushes back against this. He doesn't quite play the right level of politics. Good publicity, bad publicity, right? We're kind of in an age where there is such a thing as bad publicity. Or maybe the people are right. It just wasn't the right time for Terminator Dark Fate. But here's the thing. He gets James Cameron to sign off on the movie. So people get into it, and people were ready for it because of that James Cameron sign-off. James Cameron furthers the plot and the ideas and says he was there, and he saw it all, and he approved it all. This goes huge at the time, huge with Terminator fans. But the movie doesn't quite land. Let's just look into the box office real quick. Terminator Dark Fate. It's also screenplay. One of the screenplayers is David S. Goyer, an absolute genius. The budget, $185 to $200 million. The box office, $261 million. That's insane. That's insane. For whatever reason, the budgets for these Terminator movies are madness. Like, all of them. So he gets this pushback and then doesn't quite get back to directing. How about that? You make a bunch of short films, 2002, 2003, 2004. You make 2 short films in 2004. Make one in 2006. You get involved with television, right? Love, Death, and Robots. Looks like he's a part of a episode for that. The guy's there. Right? Academy Award nominated Best Short Film 2005. Gopher Broke. Right, that was one of his 04 movies. Right, so the dude's chomping at the bit. And then you turn on the people that got you into the director's chair of Deadpool. This echoes online. It doesn't have to be true. Right? Because people will take things and run with it. But you have to be savvy enough. And you're a media guy. I mean, like, literally, you can make movies. You can refute this with visual storytelling, but you're not. But he gets involved. He's executive producer of Sonic the Hedgehog, 2002. Keep in mind, Later this year, we will get Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Very successful. Sonic the Hedgehog might be the most fan accepted movie based on a video game in the absolute history of the known world. And here's what happens. People see what Sonic looks like. And they're like, what do you do? What is happening with this? So back to everyone online screaming at the clouds. But everyone online, it's like universal. Everyone online. We do not like the way Sonic the Hedgehog looks for this upcoming Sonic the Hedgehog movie. And guess what they do? They hear it. He hears it because he got trashed with Terminator Dark Fate. And they change it. They correct it. Course correction. He looks like the game. The Sega Genesis box artwork, all of it. He looks like it. Guess what happens with the movie? Let's see. What happened to the box office of Sonic the Hedgehog? Budget, $90 million. Box office, $320 million. Sonic 2. Budget, $110 million. We also introduced Knuckles in this. Box office, $400 million. So he listens, and boom. And then this year he's uncredited for Borderlands. Looks like he's a part of some reshoots. But then he's executive producer for Borderlands and Sonic 3. And that's almost going to be, like his path. Will he come back directing? I don't know. But it's so interesting, right? And who's directing Borderlands? I don't know. I think the movie looks great. I love the poster. Right? Holy crap. Borderlands is directed by Eli Roth. Yes. No budget. That is amazing. Wow. That makes me want to see it even more. I'm a big Eli Roth fan, by the way, guys. You guys already know. But yeah, that's a little bit of how we look at Deadpool from a film buff perspective. I get it. We love the movie. I spoke about it when it came out. Find that episode. It's on this this long feed that we're all a part of. Go to AKAPAD.com. Go to Hubs, HUBZ. You'll see a Deadpool link there. Should be a logo. You can click on that and find all my other Deadpool content. Thanks for hanging out, guys.
Okay,
I love you. Let's go.